Hey, what's up? It's Phoenix, and today I would like to talk about mental health and mental illness. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Now, I'm Phoenix, and I would describe myself as a very creative person, which is great because people who are creative can make things, they can make art, and they can produce things. But I have to admit that I have been very sensitive in my life to stimuli, to events in the world, to other people. And I have to admit that sometimes I struggle. In a world where people aren't really supposed to express their feelings, express what they feel or what's going on in their lives or what's happening, that can definitely be very difficult. But I nonetheless express myself anyway. It's why I like making YouTube videos, it's why I like writing, it's why I like exercising even, because that is a form of expression. All of these things that I do to help cope and to live life. But I have to admit that sometimes it is definitely a struggle. I definitely encourage you to check out other videos on my channel where I've talked about mental health. But I have to admit that dealing with mental health can definitely be very difficult. It is important that we prioritize it for sure, but I have to admit there are many days, even just a couple days ago, where I don't feel well, either because of events in my life or because of things that are happening. And I have to admit that that can be very difficult to deal with, and I don't always know what to do with it. I'll admit, I definitely get sad. I get overwhelmed, I get frustrated, I get angry. And the more that I think about these emotions, which I have often categorized as being destructive, the more I realize that of course they are still a part of life and that we have to do our best to mediate them, but also acknowledge that they exist in the first place. I worry that whenever we don't have an outlet or a healthy way of communicating what we're feeling, that these emotions get bottled up and that they come out in other ways, some of which might be destructive ways. And I definitely don't like that. So I wanted to say, if you've ever felt sad, or you felt like life is meaningless, or you felt like people don't understand you, I definitely understand this, and I wanted to empathize because I understand what it feels like to feel as though there is no potential in your life, that you have no purpose, that things aren't getting better, that you're not getting better. And really, I understand what that can feel like. And it doesn't make sense to feel these things sometimes, because we feel like we need to be above them or better than them. But I've learned through time more and more that as much as I really hate feeling negative emotions, or I should just describe, because I shouldn't judge the emotions, but emotions that I would describe as being difficult or antagonistic to me or intense, there's still something that I need to allow myself to feel. Because if I don't, then I'm not able to move on and move forward in life because they're holding me back. But I do understand that life can be difficult sometimes. And for me personally, who is a much more sensitive person, I definitely respond very viscerally to the difficulties of the world, to the chaos, and I would describe even destruction. And I don't want to be so dramatic when looking at these things, obviously, but I nonetheless feel as though life can be very difficult in that way. I have seen people struggle with mental illness, and it hasn't always led to good consequences, either for the person's individual life or even when that person is no longer here, as in the case of one of my friends who recently committed suicide, who I have to admit I really very much miss and wish that he was here. And what do you do with that? That is definitely a very difficult thing. But my point is to say that you aren't alone, that with mental illness and with the things that you might be feeling, like I have felt those things and other people have felt those things, and the more that we can connect with each other and relate to each other and talk about these things, I truly think the more that we can make the world better. I don't think that life is just about struggling. I don't think that life is just about getting through hard times. I do want to more and more focus on the joy that you can experience, and that it's not always about getting better. It's not always about being better. That sometimes we feel difficult emotions and we don't know what to do with them. And that even though I will admit I have been hurt in a variety of ways in my life, and recently and in, at work, just in various places, I've definitely struggled. But I have to remind myself that the feelings in some ways that I may experience are universal, It's why why I'm able to be creative in the first place. It's why I'm able to write such intense poetry. And I definitely think that that's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So it definitely gives me a lot of hope. So please, reach out if you're ever struggling. Reach out to friends, to people that you trust, and definitely understand that you're not alone and that difficult emotions will happen, that we will feel pain, but that we will certainly get through it. I wanted to make this video to remind myself and my audience of these things, that you're definitely not alone, and that there is beauty in the world, and that we are beautiful ourselves, and that we work hard, and that we will continually get through the difficult things in life. So yeah, I'm Phoenix. I know mental illness is tough, I know life is tough, I know things aren't always forgiving, but we will definitely make it through. I'm Phoenix, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.